Welcome back. I'm going to try and do a little bit this week. I do need to keep an eye on the wife though. She's pulling through nicely. She had a gallstone operation and she's been given 4 little puncture holes from keyhole surgery, so she's a little sore, but she's pulling through nicely. They let her go the same day. She's definitely milking this though, the help factor side of things, definitely. So yeah, I'm gonna try and do a little bit. It's my birthday today as well, 21 today. Well, I'd like to think so. Anyway, happy Father's Day to all the fathers, even though this will be a week later. I've spray foamed all this back end in, and the reason I've done it is because I got a can of spray foam for my birthday. Hey, it all helps, and it's the thought that counts. I'd rather have useful prezzies and stuff that sits on the shelf and can't be admired, or if you know what I mean. So yeah, I filled in all of the interior of this because we need to insulate that, because that is going to condensate up in the winter if I don't. I don't know how far the foam went in that one though, so I might drill a hole in the middle and run a bolt through them that I drilled and spray foam that last little piece up. We'll then cut some angle iron and bolt through to that and bolt down to the floor, and then when I get some more money, actually I have got some money, I got 50 quid for my birthday as well. Hey, we're doing well here. We'll get some flat plate and weld down to that and screw onto that. Once we've done that, we can put a liner across to water, keep the water from getting in the floor, because water can still get down. You can see the water behind there. Water still can get behind that. Condensation can run down this side because it's single glaze, not double. So we need to put some sort of plastic protector on here, and we need to find a way of tucking it under the floor so it don't come in. And we're going to use a foil based bubble wrap for that. And once we've done that and we've got that all boarded over, I can then start thinking about putting all the pipe work in for the water tank, which is what this was all about in the first place. And I'm also debating about a second drinking water tank to go there as well, that will link up to that one that's under the floor. I didn't want to put it under the floor, if I'm honest with you, because that would be subject to freezing. I literally just cut that out. You can see how bad that frame was. So, got a funny look of her. I've got to put a motorbike rack in this, and I haven't done myself a lot of favours because there's no blooming room. This has got the potential of sliding out nearly 5 foot, and it's looking like I've only got about half a foot to play with. What a waste of time. I reckon that middle bar is going to have to go, and I'm going to have to make up a frame that can go in and under, and pray that I make it accurate enough where it won't get trapped anywhere. I literally have only that distance to play with, because I think I've taken this height here to that height there. So, and there is no more room up there because there's a big old cross beam going there, and there's another one underneath here which I don't want to remove. What would be ideal is being able to turn half of this back piece into a bike rack. I don't think it's going to happen. Got toe hitch to go on as well, so I need that bar. We've also got to put some reinforcement frames in under that as well to stop that from doing that. Anyway, I've put some angle iron on the inside, mainly just to stop people from grabbing the outside and pulling and getting in. They are going to be permanent. I've got to make something to go down there a lot stronger than what I've done there, I reckon, because I was going to weld onto here, but as I'm bolting onto there anyway, it's pointless welding onto there, so I might as well just get something like a strip of thick alley plate. And I've got a load of that tread left, so I might cut some of that up on my saws and put some self-tap roofing style bolts all the way down. If the more I put in, the stronger it will be. As simple as that, really, and that's the logic on it. I don't think the rest of the plates are in. You can see the masking tape through the window, and you'll assume that the next job will be filler foam all down that gap as far as we can take it, and along that upper line as well. The upper line I'm going to do from the outside, I've taped it off where the gap is. I don't think that's going to work. I think it's going to blow the masking tape, to be honest, but I need to try and keep it contained so it don't spill all over the path and drip all over. Bit of a mess, but it's sealed. That should now be 100% watertight, but there's still more to do, but mainly on the outside regarding the sealing. I've left myself a bit of a problem up here though, trimming this stuff up with all the wires in the way. I had a similar problem over there. It took hours because I didn't want to cut into the wires. So I think what we're going to do, just before it fully cures up, as you can see it's still malleable, we're going to shove it in there as best as possible. Yeah, bugger. And hopefully that will stay out of the way. There you go, we're sealed up there. I put tape over the gap to try and hold it in. I didn't think that was going to work, but it did. So I either didn't put enough in, or it just didn't expand through because it isn't that strong. Who knows? So we'll get a knife and we'll trim that all up, scrape all that crap off the glass. I did seal this up with tape to stop it from falling inside the gap because that'd be a nightmare to get out. Once we've done that, we'll get some alley trim. We're going to dig out a little bit of that stuff in there, and then we'll put black sealant in that gap, and then a piece of trim which I'm going to have to get an engineer shop to make up, just to go over that gap all the way around up as far as here. And then we're going to put a piece of steel or an aluminium or something across this to support it, and then we'll build the bike rack onto that. And as yet I still haven't figured out how that's going to happen. That one has got me a little bit beat, if I'll be honest. Most of it, but I had to refill there with what I had left. We do have a little drip coming in at the top, which has annoyed me just slightly. So the next process of this is one of two. We're either going to, actually one of three, we're actually going to either dig this out a little bit and put fiberglass filler down in there, and then put some fiberglass tape over the top, but then it's going to leave a ridge which I didn't want, and loads of filling and loads of sand, and I don't want that. This isn't glued down very well to the framework, so I don't think that's an option. The next option is just put some black sealant down there, like loads of it, and leave it, but on its own I don't think that's enough either. The other thing I can do, which I think I should do, is fill up that gap a bit more and dig out those, fill it with black sealant, and then get a piece of trim bent that can go over here and then over that. We can't rivet to that because it isn't strong enough to take it, but it's strong enough to be riveted to here. So if we glue the alley down onto that and then glue it onto that surface, that shouldn't move around. I'm not expecting it to, and that may be strong enough. Well, that's the end of a very, very productive day, because this is now fully sealed up. This is actually corner angle iron alley, and instead of putting it like I said I was going to do on that face, I've actually ground out some of the stuff inside that we put in, and I filled it with black sealant and then squished that right inside there. This isn't going nowhere anyway, and that has sealed up. As I was saying, it's fully sealed up behind that, in that gap between this point and that point, with the alley in between, and then we've riveted that down to tidy that edge up, and we've done that all the way around, and I'm pretty pleased with it. But I haven't done the bottom. Okay, what I've done is I've cut that bit of angle up that I told you about. That's now screwed down to the floor. There is a piece of foil sitting underneath that that's folded all the way down to hide the wood up, which I'll eventually get glued down, because there is still water getting down here, and it's coming in through that channel for the window slider, and I have noticed that it's dripping on the floor. So I've also sealed up that corner to stop it from running under, and I'm really hoping that that is going to be enough to stop the floors from getting wet. As you know, there is no absolute guarantee on anything. When we put the wood across the floor for the walls, I will seal that down tight with some sealant as well, just to get that extra bit of leverage on the moisture. Now we've also put a moisture barrier up. As you can see, this one's already been done. The motor's hidden nicely behind there. They're all mounted on rubber. They have to be, but I can't do this one yet because that has come unstuck from the glass. I've actually got to lower that down and re-glue it, peel the glass away and redo the whole thing because it's just rubbish. So that's my mission so far. Wiring is coming through here. We're going to put wood along there, as we've already spoken about. We'll trim all this plastic off after, and then we'll put some leather trim, which I've got here. The panels are there. I'm going to recover them and pop those all back where it's possible to do so. Probably end up making some fresh ones, to be honest. So yeah, that's where we're heading. I'm hoping no water will get in and wreck the floor on that back. This was never a plan. This was never part of the plan. Originally it was going to be a slide out here. For those of you that have just tuned in and wonder what the heck I'm up to, there was supposed to be a secondary floor go down. No water was ever going to find its way into this zone here. So yeah, I've had to work around everything as best as possible. I'm hoping also, I said about putting a motorbike rack on the back, somebody's just offered me well, they ain't offered it to me yet, it's not concrete, but we might have ourselves a 250 trials bike to restore, if all goes to plan, on the videos soon. But it's going to be one of them long jobs because there's so many bits missing from it. I've got to buy a lot of stuff. Okay, it's a new day and I think I am about as far as I can go at the moment. Lack of materials. The coverings are on now, the vapour barriers. That's just to stop any rainwater that gets in past the rubber seals on the windows. Bearing in mind these do go up and down. We don't want water behind that area. I also managed to lower them yesterday and I've re-glued the mechanisms to the glass because they had popped. But these windows are a little stiff and I think that's going to come back and bite me up the backside at a later date. I can just see me pulling this all apart yet again, finding another way of... I think they're going to be more of a nuisance than they're worth. Okay, that is the wooden frame in place. That's as far as I'm taking it. I'm going to leave it hollow at the top because I need to access wiring at some point. And I've put battens in the middle, so we'll fill that bit in with a permanent piece, but the two outers, they're going to be removable. But the way I'm planning it is when I build the unit over the top, if I ever need to access it, we'll have to move the unit, but instead of moving the whole piece of panel, I'm going to cut some holes out and then I'll make some cover plates to go over, and we'll try and keep them below the sofa unit so it can't be seen. That's the only thing I can come up with at this point in time. So the next stage is to cut the polyurethane out. We're going to fill that one, that and that bottom one. We're not going to be doing that one because I need to access electrics there, so I'm actually going to cut a separate piece out and hinge that, and no, we'll cover that one completely. So one big piece to go along the bottom, we'll router around the wood, and then a piece in the kitchen we'll just cut as much, salvage as much as possible. I have one piece on the floor, but I just don't think that's going to be big enough for any use. I'm hoping it will do the roof, but I have my doubts. As insulation goes, that's probably about as good as it's going to get. I suppose we could put a little bit up there just to act as a bit of support, but I managed to cut round that. I wasn't going to do any of that, to be honest, but I managed to cut round those. Made a right mess in here. There's a fair bit left over, so I think I will cover that water tank. I might even go as far as wrapping some around it if I can get underneath it before we cover the towel piece where the hitch is going to be with aluminium. I can get better access. I might strap a load of that on and see how that fares. in the weather. Unfortunately, I can't do much about the water tank, which is under this side, because there is just no room. A real pain in the butt, that one. However, I've got a generator going in here, and it would be nice to soundproof that generator room a little bit by using some of that around the roof line and the walls. I've just suddenly realised something. We are getting close to the plumbing, and I need all this stuff out of the way, so it now means I've got to go in my shed, clear up, because I need to put all this stuff back on the shelving in order to get full access to everything. Oh, that's going to be a Sunday today, and we've got the first of the plywood up. I've routed this out. Believe it or not, I did it with a drill and not a router, because I just couldn't be bothered with the router machine. The wood here was the offcut. There is a gap, and I'm a little annoyed about it, but it's that, or I buy another sheet of plywood just for those silly little pieces. Bearing in mind I'll be cutting most of it out, as you can see there. So I opted for doing it that way, with the attitude we will put some trim. Right, sorry, people walking past, camera pointing at the windows, I think I'm firing at them. Yeah, the wood didn't quite make it. I didn't want to buy another piece of ply, although that would be the proper way to do it, and cut out and then route out the rest of the window. But funds are just too tight for that at the moment, I'm afraid. So what we're going to do is we're going to run a piece of trim down, literally all the way down there, down to the ground anyway, and then we'll build the cupboard around the trim. We've got 2 more pieces to cut for this roof line. We can't bend a piece of ply. We don't have anything to attach it to here anyway. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut a short piece out to slide in under there, and under there there's a gap, and then we'll run that piece of ply up against here as best as we possibly can, bearing in mind we've got wires everywhere, and then the next piece that goes on will be actually screwed to that piece of ply. That is the plan. I've just got to cover it in white, cut a hole out over there. I would say, out of all the walls I've done, this is probably the best one yet. Bit of a gap at the top, but that's because this pokes out, so I've got to cut into there a little bit later. Push that down, but all things, all in all, yeah, it's come out good. So we'll get some coverings on. Then we'll get some little hinges, put some flaps over them holes. Yeah, pleased with that. A white PVC, I had literally, all I could do was stitch together and glue on what I had left, which was a minimal amount. Really annoying when you ain't got the material. So there's a stitch line there, there's a stitch line there. I couldn't even get it centre because there wasn't enough to pull over, but then I thought about it after. Oh, by the time I've got the cupboard in on that side, because it's going to go right to the end, that will make that look a little bit more central on the sofa line itself. So the best I could do, there's just no materials left now. So yeah, I'm hot. I'm really hot. I couldn't even get any on here because we ran out. But that might not be an issue up there anyway. I've got to buy some more white material at some point. I've got to make some trim to go in that window space. We've still got triangles to cut out. We've still got that to do, so we'll do that next week. We'll get the triangles done. I think there might be a little bit of PVC left over. I can just get those triangles done, I hope. So we'll get onto that. We'll get the cover plate done for that, and then we'll get some more money in our pockets. We'll start doing the plumbing and getting that bathroom finished off, which is the whole point of this back wall, was so as I could get that bathroom finished. But we've hit a bit of a snag. Don't know if I've already spoken, but my glue is giving out on the wallpaper. I don't get what's going on. Well, I do, it's hot. Since putting those damn things in, the sun is beaming in, so the PVC is holding out nicely. Even that wallpaper is held, but I keep using different brands of bloody glue, so I don't know which one is the strongest that I keep buying. I've got a feeling it's the Toolstation one. I think I used Toolstation's one for that and that, and they're the two that have held. I've used Toolstation to do the bottom, but I didn't use it to do the middle pieces, so we'll see. I mucked up the hole over there. I forgot to make a hole in. I tried to cut a hole out. Oh boy, did I make a mess of that. We'll come back to those at a later date. We've got to put covers over them anyway with doorways so we can access the components like the fuse box and that piece up there. Nothing's glued, it's all just straight screwed, and the overhead covered up here will probably come just above those screw lines, and then we'll literally put angle all the way along, and then there's a cupboard overhead to go right up against here, which will go along that line. So we'll hide that one, and this line can be hidden with some corner trim that I've got to lay in, which will be covered in white PVC. So yeah, that's really all I can come up with. It's so hot at the moment, even my poor dog is suffering. A bit worried about him because he's heavy panting in this. So yeah, the wife's doing well, in case you're wondering. She's healing well. Hang on, let me put camera on me. She is actually healing well. She's 3 of her puncture holes from keyhole are pretty much healed now, but that one in the belly button, which is where they pulled the stone through, which was you got to imagine you're pulling a golf ball through that hole, an oddly shaped one. That's pretty much what that hole was for, and that ain't healing as well as the others are. Yeah, she's doing all right. So yeah, that has allowed me to continue with this, because she has healed really well. And for someone who's anemic, I'm surprised she healed as well as she did, and as quick as she did. So with all of this in mind, we'll get back to it next week. We'll do some more. I would just like to say thank you for the shares. Welcome to the new subscribers. We've got 3 this week, to my astonishment. Well, 2 this week, 1 last week. Welcome guys, whoever you are. I hope you enjoy what you see. Don't know who you are, haven't checked yet. I've been too busy. And we'll see you next week. Bye bye.